Hi, my name's Aisha. That's me right there putting on my hat. And so I am decided partway through this mural to basically start recording me creating this. I I kind of just started in. Like you'll see I've got that image of a figure and those different colored balls running up and down the figure. They are chakras. And so I love creating mind maps. I wanted to create something that uh, for my wall that I'll pop up an image right here. This is a picture of what my wall looked like before I painted it black, and I just used like chalkboard paint and chalks and so forth, and you can see an image of that right now. But those are the supplies that I used in creating this wall. But my thought behind it was to go ahead and basically I like mind mapping. This is the first time I've ever put like I guess this is the biggest mind map wall I've had before. I've had mind map walls in the past. However, the apartment I'm living in, I was just tired of seeing the nice color tan paint and was just like, you know what? I think this wall would be pretty cool as a mind map. And so I got some chalkboard paint, um, chalk like the black paint as the base, and then some chalks, some color chalks that I found on Amazon, and like right here, I'm putting down sub branches and stuff and really building out my mind map. When I started, I didn't know what I wanted to do. This is kind of what I started with. Here's a picture of what I started with, and I didn't like the way that it was just so small on this big background. And so I decided to just, you know what, just scrap it, just grab like, I used just some, you can kind of see my chalk there in that image, but I used just like some white chalk to just really make a rudimentary line. And as far as like making this figure that you see and making putting that on the wall, getting it how I wanted, and then just kind of standing back and visualizing what I wanted it to look like. Like, one of the things I love about mind mapping, and there's a lot of things I love about mind mapping, but being someone who is neurodivergent, meaning basically neurodivergence, you can be qualified as neurodivergent if you have ADHD, if you are autistic, and or if you have dyslexia, that would be neurodivergent. And so I love using color. I love color being in my apartment. And for me, getting like a mind map of kind of what I am wanting to focus on, what I'm wanting to create in my life, something that I could use like as a vision board just sounded really, really good to me. That's why I have like here, I'm focused on the intuition branch and sub branches and writing God and spirituality, like increasing those things. Um, and then mind maps are just a great way to, I found over the years since doing them, and I've been doing them for, creating them for like 20 years now, is that they're just a great way to kind of expand my thinking, expand my mind, be able to focus. I like using them as kind of like a GPS. system to where when my mind has all kinds of different thoughts and stuff going on, I can kind of use it to focus me, as being someone who does have ADHD and among other things, uh, on within the neurodivergent field. But just being able to like go in and write that, I want to open up my intuition and spirituality is just really important to me. So yeah, I basically start creating this mind map wall, and about partway through, that's when I was like, wait a second, I should be filming this. And depending on where you're coming in to watch this video, you'll notice like at the time of like filming, I YouTubing isn't something that I was focused on doing, and only now with like this video, I'm starting to get back into it and think, wait, yeah, like I know that I love consuming content. Maybe I should create my own type of content, instead of just my courses that I put on Skillshare, every now and then. And if you're curious of the courses I put on Skillshare, you can go take a look. You can look for Aisha Burrell. But I'll just warn you now, they're mind mapping courses. And like I have a doodle course. Later on in this video, I start doodling and stuff. And so I, yeah, I just want to create this video and decided, okay, well, even though I basically didn't set up a camera, or I think I just used my phone actually, because I figure, I'm going to keep this as simple as possible. Like, I don't want this to be a huge production, even though it easily could be. I just want to just set up my camera, my phone, my iPhone, and just be like, hey, let me just push the record button. Let me make sure my phone's plugged in. Didn't even have any audio. The lights that I was using were with creating oh my gosh. You can tell I'm so not used to, like, I am not like the polished YouTuber yet, but we will get there. That's part of what this mind map is focusing on, is just increasing that awareness, oneness, refinement, divinity. You can see all those words branching out. But yeah, I created this mind map just because, and I figured I'd put it in a central location because I do want to be able to expand and grow, grow my love, grow my awareness, my communication skills. I want to be able to, come in every day and put down, look at this mural, because my apartment's not very big. I basically just, live in a 1-bedroom apartment, at the time of, recording this video and recording this voiceover. But yeah, now I'm kind of like, after having sat with this mind map on my wall for the last, I'd say 6-7 months, and just soaking it in every single day, I feel like I have been able to, like, it has absorbed into me. And that's the nice thing too about just like putting together a wall and putting a mind map on there and being like, okay, like, let me put some doodles and stars and that I want to be able to learn lessons and make divine connections and stuff. I know that one of the connections I have made is that with like awareness, I've got here awareness and journaling and all that stuff. And I've definitely going in and out of journaling quite a bit. But that is something that I'd like to focus on more. Um, and just creating that unity and awareness within me. But since putting this mind map on my wall and looking at it, and I I feel like I am more focused now, as far as being able to make those different connections and learn new lessons, and increasing all that stuff. Like one of the I love listening to podcasts. Like you can see that I've got some earbuds in my ear. I can't tell you exactly what I was listening to at this time, but I do know that I cycle through kind of the same type of content to where I'll listen to like music that I really enjoy, such as like just whatever I'm feeling, hip hop, R&B. Um, I've been listening to a lot of country and blues, like Chris Stapleton, and different. I have a whole playlist that I kind of just listen to on repeat. I also like to listen to binaural beats when I create, just because it helps me to get into that. I believe it's the theta state of focus and everything. And I'm like putting down some dollar signs here. That's definitely, anyone who is just like me right now, just kind of really trying to do more than just survive and perhaps thrive in this economy and environment. You know, definitely being able to pay my bills is important, and something I often think about. Being able to support my kids to the best of my abilities and everything, and give them all the love they need. That's why I've got, drew out a little doodle of them here, as far as my daughter, who's the oldest, and then my son, who's several years younger than my daughter. But yeah, just expanding upon like love, and love for like myself, love for others, love for the universe. Just leading with love, I think, is incredibly important, and being able to grow that um, is incredibly important. But one of the things I've been listening to, because I was talking about that, one of the things that I've been listening to, and you'll hear like little noises perhaps, depending on how the audio is on this, but I'll be taking drinks of water here and there. Um, and I say a lot. It is what it is. Because I'm not a polished YouTuber, but I'm going to, drink some coffee. Hopefully you're drinking something as well. But one of the podcasts I've been listening to more recently, um, is the telepathy tapes. I found that podcast to be incredibly interesting, uh, as far as like intuition, and kind of, I've always been one of those people who have been incredibly intuitive all my life. And like, I still remember dreams that I had when I was a kid, and just the the realness of those dreams, and being able to learn from all kinds of different teachers. I'll share this with you, but I remember one of the earliest dreams that I remember having as a kid that was incredibly interesting was um, being. I don't think I definitely know I've never shared this before, but I was I was in, like, I had stumbled into this large, like, room, this area, this gallery. I don't know what to call it, but it was a huge open space that felt like it was outside and also inside. You know how dreams are. And there was someone that I met, and she came up to me and she was just like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Like, what are you doing here? Wow." And I was maybe about 8 at the time or so. And I was just like, "Yeah, I'm like, looking around and whatever." And so I guess there was a gathering where there were all these spiritual leaders and people from all points of time and space and history. Like a few of the figures there was maybe about 12 or so, but like Jesus was there, and the Buddha, and Mahatma Gandhi, and um all these different, like Einstein was there, just all these different people who known throughout the world. And I didn't necessarily know who they were. Like, I kind of, when I saw them, like, I knew who they were because it was a dream. And for me, that's how dreams go, where you just know things that you don't know in waking life. You know them inside your subconscious life. And so I was watching, or not watching, I was in this stream, and this lady who, she took me around and she introduced me. She was so kind. And she introduced me to all these different people. And they're just like, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" And, I have no clue what's really going on. It's, I recognized, like, I was familiar with, like, one of the figures who was Jesus. And I was like, "Wow, like, that's Jesus. Hey, Jesus." He's just like, "Hey, what's up?" I wish I had written this dream down. Of course, when it occurred, um, I don't think I had the capacity to do that when I was a kid. That's writing down dreams and stuff is a skill that you kind of learn along the way. But yeah, so I'm writing here like success and stuff, and it might be hard to tell, but my arm kind of disappears because I have my monitor up, my screen, my Dell monitor that I use to work and edit and so forth. And so, yeah, just taking a step back and being able to look at this whole thing is kind of cool. But yeah, in this dream, I was being introduced to all these figures, and this makes me think I'd like to actually create a course in dreams. Take a break from mind mapping, perhaps. Even though I have another mind mapping course that I'd like to create, that I'm actually at the beginning of creating, and it's called Mind Mapping for Neurodivergent Learners. But I think I would like to actually make a course on dreams and just like the history of dreams. Several years back, I started trying to create a course called The History of Dreams, and I just had no idea how to create a course and lessons and how they were all broken up and just putting everything together. But I think I will revisit that because I got far enough along and then abandoned it because it was just overwhelming. But I would like to do that. I think that's important. I think it's important to focus on. But yeah, it was kind of cool because one of the things I noticed about this lady was that the way that she was just kind of like walking, like she was kind of floating. And she was wearing like a green dress or something such as that, like a greenish blue, and introducing me to these figures. And then she helped me get back home by ordering me up like super quick, like a like on Aladdin, you have that carpet ride. It was kind of like that, to where she was just like, "Yeah, and here's a panda and some honey, and this will help you get back home." Because I was like, "I don't know how to get back home, blah blah blah," whatever. But yeah, one of the things I noticed about this lady was that she had told me that when I get older, come find her. And I was like, I totally will. And it's kind of cool because like decades later, um, a good 20 years later, I actually end up meeting who I believe was that lady from my dream. Um, and she ended up teaching me about uh, dreams and everything. And her name's Dr. Barbara Condren. And I ended up studying with her at the School of Metaphysics while I was part of that in my late 20s, early 30s. For about 4 years of my life, I was part of the School of Metaphysics, and she was one of the people, she was one of the teachers and one of the main folks who taught me all about dreams and like what they mean and how to increase my awareness and communication and all those different things, and even what the chakras are and all that good stuff. So, yeah. Um, yeah. Here I'm drawing a little crude doodle of a spaceship. Uh, I find space travel very interesting, and I want to put that on my my mind map. Just because I love like outer space, and it's kind of interesting. This is one of my like little signatures, doing a ladybug. I've been drawing ladybugs here and there since I've started drawing. It's just kind of something that I always remember doing and coming back to. So it felt good being able to put that on my wall of things that I wanted to focus on and manifest and stuff. But space travel is one of those things that have always kind of intrigued me, um, and been able to kind of make me think like, that expanded way of thinking and doing stuff and feeling like, space travel would be really cool. Um, I had a opportunity a couple weeks ago. I tried out the Meta, what is it called? It was the Meta Oculus. I feel like I'm getting this wrong, but the S series. Yeah, I'm totally getting the name wrong, but basically it was this virtual reality environment, and it was first time really trying it, and I was just like, this is amazing. Like, I don't think the technology is there yet. I think it's really close. But one of the things I watched was being able to, like, I found fascinating was the moon series that they have on there with the astronauts and being on the satellite, and it's kind of like they give it a 3D dimension, and it's something that like I was able to go to and see and experience like what it felt to be like, as close as I'm going to get, an astronaut and living on the space station for, however long. And so one of the things that like I've always been fascinated with is just that type of space travel and time travel. And I do think as a species we will eventually end up manifesting that and that ability in our life, and maybe in our lifetime. I know there's other people are focused on doing that. I'm not sure how much I want to go to Mars. Like, I was watching a YouTube video that I found on, it was like, what happens to our bodies in, basically on every planet, for the exception of Earth, is, what happens to our bodies and stuff. Like, okay, like, how long would it take for our blood to boil from the inside out, or the atmosphere of, I believe it's Venus, to crush our bodies. And so, it eventually video got to Mars, and I'm just like, why would anyone want to live on Mars? But anyway, um, I guess that's something that, many people will want to do it just for the novelty of it or whatever. But it's not something I want to manifest for myself. But so putting this whole mind map together and stuff, here, this is where I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me write my central word, which is manifest. And then I'm just taking this rag and dipping it in some water and just basically cleaning up the lines of my mind map doodle that I had drawn. And so just going through, you see me going in and just kind of erasing those white marks, chalk marks that I'd gotten around, because originally I had sketched this, and that was the part that I did not capture. Unfortunately, sometimes it's interesting, being a creative person. It's like I have all this creativity inside me, and I've collected through the years lots of different lots of different objects and things, and like lights, cameras, and audio equipment, and I've learned how to use them and so forth. And I do use them various times. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I think as a creative person, it's just, what was it yesterday? Yesterday, as I was thinking, okay, I really want to create this course, this neural divergent, or mind mapping for neurodivergent learners course. And I was thinking, like, I'd like to show the mind map that I created, this big wall that I have, which, of a mind map, kind of like, this is, you can do this with mind mapping, or mind maps look like this, kind of a thing. But I think as a creator, just as a creative person, one of the things I have to remind myself, and I was reminding myself of this yesterday, and that is, I have everything I need to be successful. Like, if I want to write a story, I have pens and I have paper. Like, if I want to create a mural on my wall that is a ginormous mind map, like, I have access to ordering these supplies. Like, I have more access than anything that I have ever had, in my 48 years of living on this earth. And I sometimes have to stop and think to myself, like, you've got everything you need, Aisha. You don't have to make things overly complicated. You can just step back and observe and be like, okay, like, I can succeed. I can be who God's created me to be. I can, be more than just who my limits are. I don't know how else to say it, but yeah, like, I want to be able to manifest all kinds of things in my life financially, move away from survival and move into belonging, and financial. So this is the mind map at the end, and how it looks and everything. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me ramble on and on about all kinds of different things. And I know, like, I'm not a podcaster, so I'm not used to yet putting out, like, wrapping everything up and all that stuff. But just like me and just like this wall, it's a work of art. And as am I, right? You know? Yeah, so thanks for watching, and perhaps I will see you in the next video.